All right, y'all. So a lot of people have been asking me about the controversy, not even controversy, but like just the thing going on, like with the whole, SCP Illustrator obviously made a video talking about like SCP animation channels and like the way it's affecting other SCP channels. And by the way, before I really start getting into it, shout out my Twitch chat over here, you know what I'm saying? Twitch.tv/Isaiah Cozy. You know what I mean? We here, we're live. Shout out to Twitch chat. Shout out. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, so pretty much SCP Illustrated, we already watched the video. I would have had a reaction up, but something's happened, so the reaction to the actual video won't be up. It'll just be my thoughts and what I feel on the topic. That's why I always tell y'all, come over to the Twitch side. You know what I mean? There are a lot of reactions. There's a lot of things, giveaways, things that we do that are on Twitch and not necessarily on like the Twitch highlight Isaiah Cozy channel. Like I don't really like if I'm gonna do a giveaway, it's on Twitch. It's not on YouTube. It's in Discord. You know what I mean? So, there's a lot of things that we do over here that we don't do on the YouTube channel and that I don't record or it just doesn't end up being uploaded. You know what I mean? But anywho, with that being said, yeah, so a lot of the controversy stems from the fact that the animation channels are basically they're taking over. They're taking over, and that's just the reality of the situation. There's really nothing else you can say about it. Like, they're literally just taking over. And it's hurting a lot of the OGs, a lot of the writers, the big commentary, the big names. You know what I mean? The really big names that we're used to seeing in the SCP community. And a lot of it is like, don't forget about us. And my take on it, it's not even that... The algorithm obviously isn't promoting their content as much, and I'll be the first to say that, like, I watch animation channels because, my audience stays longer. You know what I mean? A lot of people, when it comes to like the longer formats of videos, especially on Twitch, a lot of people be like, damn, I fell asleep, or damn, like this was long, or damn, we're still going. You know what I mean? So it's a lot of those are key factors. I still love the Vogan. I love SCP Illustrated. I watch some of their videos on my own time. Like, I'm big fans of their work. You know what I mean? A lot SCP Explained, or not Explained, SCP Explained. His stuff is on Spotify. Like, there's a lot of good stuff that's out there that's not the animation channels. And obviously on YouTube, on the YouTube platform, animations are taking over because they're short form. Kids like them more. I will say, according to like the gruesome whatchamacallit, how does that work? According to like LSP Illustrated, he did say that there was less gruesome content. I will say that Dr. Bob and like recently the Rubber, they've been making like a push for like more gruesome, like more risque content, as opposed to making it like more kid friendly. And they'll even be putting like things before, like warnings to warn people that it's gonna get like that. So I do disagree with the fact that it's just purely for kids. And I mean, when it comes to YouTube, it's hard to really say anything, because when somebody is coming in and putting out content that works, and they're basically Chronos with the gift, that I appreciate that. They're basically coming in and just they're making the algorithm work for them. And I don't want to say they're exploiting, because they're really not. And some of them actually really love SCPs. They're coming in and they're just making SCPs more digestible, and they're making it better for YouTube. And we all know that the big money making things that come with YouTube are for kids. Kids make the most money for content. I mean, hell, the highest earning YouTuber is literally a kid. Nigga make $26 million nigga, reviewing toys. Like, what do you, like, we all know this already. We all know this. So I mean, it's really hard to say that like they're doing the SCP wrong. They're just doing it their way. And I will say that they don't explain as much in detail, but that audience retention rate, you know what I mean? All of those things that come into factor that keeps you up and keeps you promoted to YouTube, they're going to take all that into account, and they're going to make it work for them. It's hard, it's hard out here, bro, because a lot of OG SCP YouTubers, they're not getting noticed anymore. And it was really sad just to see like what it's done. And of course for me it's hard, like I really don't have I have an opinion, but I don't have like a real perspective, because on their end they've been doing this for so long, and they've been doing it for years, and it's been working for them, and they've been putting out really good projects. I already said the Daybreaks is the best SCP I have ever heard, and the fact that like that content is just being, it's not as prominent, with the SCP community. It's sad because, like I said, that's the most well written SCP story in my opinion. And like Illustrator said, original content, like they're literally the writers. Original content is what's gonna keep them around. This is what's gonna keep them around. The original content, the original stories, things that the animation channels can't animate yet, and that they're the only source for. You know what I mean? New stories with the SCPs. That's the only way, you know, for them to really stay relevant. It's hard to really say that, you know, somebody's stealing or they're ruining the community, because they're doing something that's working for them. And I mean, to be fair, and this is what I say to everybody, like, for example, like Detective Void, that whole situation with me, who still hasn't taken away my copyright strike, and whatever. I have people, a lot of my audience didn't even know what SCPs were. I watched SCPs with them, and now they're big fans of SCPs. So it's really hard to say that, you know, I mean, they're ruining the community, or maybe, you know, they are taking away views from certain channels, but more so, they're bringing more fans to the SCP community. And of course, the SCP community is becoming something that, you know, it usually wasn't before. You know what I mean? There's more kids. The average age range was probably like 19, 20. Now it's probably like 15, 14, because a lot of the more new fans are just younger. And it, like I said, it's just one of those situations that's tough. You know, it's tough. The Vogan Illustrated, I know you guys are going to be able to pull it through. You guys are some of the best writers, best voiceovers that I've ever heard. You guys will be okay. You know, it's just, you gotta work with the new system, bro. You know, it's like when the new kids are on the block, and people start to forget about the OGs because the new kids are doing more flashier and bigger things. You know, or not bigger, but they're doing flashier, more pretty, colorful things that, you know, people are just gonna gravitate towards. You know, you just gotta adapt. That's what YouTube is all about at the end of the day. Adapting and making the content able, you know? And it just sucks because I know a lot of people that are smaller, they just can't see it. One of the examples, here, I'm gonna show y'all because I know some of y'all probably weren't there for the reaction. A lot of the biggest example was this, which is crazy for me. If you look up SCP-096, you know what I mean? You see animation. Obviously, well, this short film fire. You see animation, you see animation, you see animation, you see animation, you see animation. They do power levels, man. What is this? Oh, we might have to watch these. But you see animation, you see animation, you see animation, you see animation. And you have yet to see, like, Illustrated. You have yet to see Vogan. You know what I mean? Just animation after animation after animation. Reaction, animation, 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 animation. And then you finally see Illustrated. And we were scrolling for damn near almost a minute. You know what I mean? Not that many people are going to scroll that long. But, you know, it's rough, bro. You know, it's rough. It really is rough. There's nothing we could do. All I can do is react to more Illustrated and more Vogan and promote their content. Because I think they really do make good stuff, you know. So, hey, I wish you guys the best. Everybody wanted to hear my take. That's my take on it. It's just an unfortunate situation. There's not really much you could do about it. Obviously, I mess with the rubber. I mess with Dr. Bob. I mess with infographics. You know what I mean? It's just easier to watch, easier to digest. It's not as detailed, obviously. It's not as well written, obviously. But it's flashier, pretty colors. People stay around for it longer. So yeah, it's just one of those things you can't do nothing about. So, hey, bro, you know, the best thing we can do is just support them and watch them as much as we can. And besides that, that's it. So, hopefully, that helped for the people who had questions or the people who are curious about my take on it. If you have any more questions or you want me to elaborate more, come over to the Twitch side and just ask. Stay cozy. And honestly, I think it's good. Obviously, it's bad for those guys and everything and all the work that they put into the SCP. They feel like they're not appreciated enough, and they feel like all their careers' work is just being, like, you know, just being tossed aside. And as much as it hurts, it's like, you know, that's what happens in every industry. You know, that's what happens in every industry. Teen Titans Go. You know what I mean? The new kids on the block, they just they come through and they take over and they make more flashier, more digestible content. That's why TikToks exist today. But that's all I got to say. I got a stream to handle, so y'all stay cozy. Hopefully that, like I said, it helped answer what y'all wanted me to say or what y'all wanted me to talk about. And yeah, that's it, bro. That's it.